I'll do it.
Yeah. On your own?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Please.
सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
We'll do 19, 20, and 21 today. Maybe 22. Ya enau veti hantaram.
न एनं वेति हन्तारम्
Ya enau veti hantaram.
य एनं वेति हन्तारम्
Yaschainam manyate hatam.
यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम्
Ubhau tau na vijanitaha.
उभौ तौ न विजानीतः
Nayam hanti na hanyate.
नायं हन्ति न हन्यते
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित्.
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्
नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः.
नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः
अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः.
अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः
न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे.
न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे
वेदा विनाशिनं नित्यम्.
वेदा विनाशिनं नित्यम्
य एनमजमव्ययम्.
य एनमजमव्ययम्
कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ.
कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ
घातयति हन्तिकम्.
कङ्घातयति हन्तिकम्
घातयति हन्तिकम्.
कङ्घातयति हन्तिकम्
घातयति.
कङ्घातयति हन्तिकम्।
Very good. Good. It's only with a little practice that our tongues open up to these words, because it's just not a habit. That's about it all. Not that it's difficult for anyone to learn or to understand this. So, thank you for the attempt and trying. We will continue with the class. So we saw yesterday the connection of Atma Vidya to a jiva. A jiva who still feels that he, she is caught up in a life cycle, samsaric cycle, caught up in duties, actions, etc. Such a person, what does Atma Vidya mean? Shankaracharya, Krishna, has started to address the fact that while we are caught up in day-to-day life struggles, these are there so long as there is non-recognition of one's true nature. We have heard this plenty times. The statement, probably no class can go without this statement being made. Without knowing one's true nature, everything done, everything attempted is an attempt to fill up the restlessness or the incompleteness, a searching tendency, nature that we have acquired. It is a tendency towards trying to fill it up. In that attempt, we make a lot of generalizations. We make a lot of I know statements. All of us make the statement throughout our life. I know what is good. I know what is right. I know what is best for me. I know I am correct. I know how I am correct. Incidentally, in a vyavharik manner, yes, it may be correct. But the test of your knowledge being right or wrong or incorrect from Shastra Drishti, not from Vyavharik Drishti. From Vyavharik Drishti, two people will turn up and say to each other, yes, I know I am right. The other person will say, I am right. Vyavharically, both of you can be right and both of you can be diametrically opposite, because from your standpoint, from your perspective, you may be right, and from their standpoint, their perspective, they are right. For example, if there is a shadow, your own shadow falling behind you, a person looking from behind you and looking at your shadow will have a different perception of the length of that shadow. And you, who is just about able to see, may have a different perception of that length of shadow. Both of you will be right. Because the fact is that you cannot stand in that perception and look at your own shadow. They cannot stand in your perception and look at your shadow from that point. That means our standpoints relative to each one of us are correct from our standpoint, but the same standpoint cannot be there for another person at all. Never. Two people never stand at the same standpoint. Two people are never in the same point. Therefore, if all of us are relatively correct, that means nobody is relatively wrong. From one standpoint, this can be a vyavharik neutralizer, accommodating another person to say, yes, maybe they are right from their standpoint. I can't see that. This being one stand. But from a paramarthik drishti, from the standpoint of an absolute, is there a right or a wrong? From the standpoint of the absolute paramarthik drishti, the question is, whatever I hold as right, is it dissolving away my disturbance? My knowledge, does it handle my shoka, my moha, my confusions? my disorientations, my agitations, my disturbances? Is my knowledge dissolving it away? Because Krishna here has made a huge difference into who Shastra Vidya calls a Jnani, the one who has knowledge, a wise person. Wisdom kya hai? Defines it very, very clearly. Who will be called as a wise person? Is one whose knowledge dissolves away the disturbance that is felt with a Jiva Drishti, in a Jiva Drishti. Inner Jiva Drishti means holding my perspective, holding my individuality, holding my standpoint. Whatever my mind has a vikar, my thoughts are there, they are my vikar. Man ke vikar hai ye. These vikars that are experienced are only subjective experiences, my own experiences, but are these knowledge enough to dissolve my vikari man, bringing it to a sthiti of shantata? That shanti means my mind doesn't have a vikar, doesn't rise in vikar. Man hai, but it doesn't rise in vikar. Vikar, modification. Modification in the sense of I know, I understand, I like, I don't like. In every thought, there is a beginning and an end. And I am associating myself with that thought. I experience the object of that thought. I am the experiencer of my action, my realm of my world, whatever that world I have defined my world as, my people, my associations, that definition that I have of my world. Krishna says, whoever has knowledge of their own true nature, that alone is a Jnani. That alone is a wise person. That alone has knowledge. All of us are relative Jnanis and relative Ajnanis. It's a big statement. We all have some relative Jnana and we all are Ajnanis. If I have the drishti of myself being a jiva, that means any attempt I make holding that jiva drishti, not knowing my sarupam, not recognizing it, any amount of knowledge I hold will not be adequate, will not displace away that restlessness that I have within myself. So in the 20th verse, he has given us what we just saw as the hetu for the fact that the one who has knowledge of themselves being Atma does not have a vikar of becoming a karta. I've given the example yesterday. Reflect on that example. Before your child was born, what happened to you? Before your child was born, who are you? Are you a parent? Before your child is born, before you held your child in your arms, are you a parent? No. When you have a grandchild, before you have a grandchild, are you a grandparent? No. Which means what? That there is, on your own sense of identity, there is one sense of identity which is changeless, which I am not really identifying as my nature. I am not recognizing it today. Why am I not recognizing it today? Shastra gives us a very simple reason, actually speaking. And it is as simple as what it says. We just do not pay attention to it. We are not looking at it. It is just aviveka. हम ध्यान नहीं दे रहे, हमारी नजर नहीं जाती. Which nazar? Obviously not the senses. The nazar, our attention, this consciousness, this awareness, this expression of the faculty of saying I am is not recognized, and I know is not directed towards that recognition. As a result of which, what happens? This vikar is always in our attention. The speed, the change of the senses perceiving the world is so quick, and they look so animated, that there is a reality that I have experienced along with it. I associate with it. I'll repeat the sentence. My senses are receiving the perception, the object so quickly. They are never not available to me. The minute I've woken up, even when I'm talking to you, my ear is hearing a sound from above. My nose is smelling something from another room. I'm already receiving plenty stimulation. That stimulation is keeping my sense of consciousness, my sense of awareness tied to it as if उसके साथ जुड़ी हुई है, युक्त है. इंद्रियों के साथ मेरा मन युक्त है. इंद्रियों का ज्ञान लेता है बहुत आराम से, because it is जुड़ी हुई. But Shastras told us, Atma Vidya, Atma is not a Vishay of Indriya. As a result of which, what happens? I have to pay separate attention. Who's the I? यही जीव. इंद्रियों के विषयों में ना ढूंढकर. In the next verse, Bhagavan Bhashyakara is going to say, who is the one who will get that viveka, who will get that attention looking at it? Who is the one who's going to know Atma, Avikriya, Atma Ajanma, Atma Puranaha, Atma Nityaha, that Atma, my nature, मैं हूँ. It's not anyone else. That recognition, he says, the one who has, for him, he cannot have that vikar of becoming a doer. करने के लिए कोई वृत्ति नहीं आती. जो कर्म करते हैं, there is a whole analysis there. जो कर्म करते हैं, why do they? That means, will they not work at all? Will they not do at all? Once you become a jnani, are you in a state of a limbo? No, they are acting. But the sense of involvement that we have in the world today, the sense of reality that we experience in the world today, that sense is not there. It's dissolved. तो वो जो कर्ता का विकार है, न कर्ता, it's not there. न भोक्ता means whatever the world is going through you do not associate yourself as being a part of that reception of the world. You are receiving, but you are not one with it. The one who knows Atma knows that Atma is a karta, and therefore he is a karta. She is a karta. The he, she is all associated with the body and only a relative knowledge. Atma is no gender, nityaha, etc. Cannot become the doer, will not become the affecter of someone else's action. Therefore, the vikar of bhog, bhokta, enjoyership, and here in this context of the Gita, enjoyership is in the sense of sufferer, suffering. Arjuna is suffering at the moment. So that enjoyership is also, other side of it is suffering. Has no enjoyership, no suffering, experienced in that sense of identification with it. It is just like you, an adult who is playing with a child, and the toy breaks, and the child is crying terribly, feeling a sense of loss. But you are consoling the child. You pretend to cry with the child also, but heart to heart, are you crying? You are smiling inside. You are objective inside. You know the real worth of the loss of that toy is nothing at all. That toy is just a toy. To you, the toy is not real. To you, the toy is not real. To the child, the toy is a real loss. So what happens with Atma Vidya? The entire Jagrat, all relations, and it's a big leap in one's thinking and anchoring when happens. First, the leap in understanding, and then that allows us to anchor at it. That entirety of waking world with all the relations and all the objects, all the experiences of sukha and dukkha that I have from the waking world are to a jnani worthy of a child's involvement with a toy. So all our happiness, when I see myself as a jiva and I do not recognize the Atma as Nitya, Ajaha, Shashvataha, Puranaha, therefore Akarta, Abhokta, Ityadi, when I do not recognize myself as that, then all my gains and my losses are equivalent to a child having the joy of gaining a toy and crying for the loss of the toy. This is therefore in the passage, Bhashyam says, giving all the meanings of each word there, telling that Atma is avikriyaha. Each word having explained, therefore, asmin mantre shad bhava vikaraha laukika vastu vikriyaha atmani pratishyante. Whatever shad bhava vikar is there is only in the sense of laukika vyavhar, with reference to the sharir, whatever you experience as real. But Atma is sarva prakara vikriya rahitaha. Atma has no change. That is the vakyarthaha. That is the meaning, essence of the verse. And then in this particular context, Shankara always wants to give a little more knowledge than just the verse, because as we have said, Gita is a complete Vedantic text in itself. So wherever he finds an opportunity to elaborate what other Upanishads or Brahma Sutras would be elaborating in so many verses, wherever he finds an important discussion has to come, he brings it in the form of a bhashyam, Purva Paksha and Siddhanta, and he elaborates into that, which will be done in the 21st verse. But starting with it, he says, this na jayate ityanena avikriyatve hetu. When we saw that na jayate is the hetu, avikriyam is the hetu of Atma, how is it to explain that is the 21st verse. And what is it? Veda avinashinam nityam. We didn't do this yesterday, right? Anybody remembers? Did we start this?
No, Deepti ji, we were doing the last one.
The 20th till I finished, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Veda avinashinam nityam. Yah enam ajam avyayam. Yah enam ajam avyayam. Veda is not the book Veda, the knowledge Veda. Bhashyakara says Veda means Vijanitaha. Sorry. Vijanitaha. Janna. What avinashinam? It's kind of summarizing the previous because this is an upasamharati verse, conclusive verse. What he said in the 19th verse, he's concluding it here with reason given in the 20th verse. Avinashinam. What is avinashinam? Antya bhava vikara rahitam. Antya bhava vikara is what? Antya bhava vikar is what?
You might try.
जिसका विकार नहीं होता.
Antya bhav. Antya bhav. What did you say, DM?
Gitaji, I meant the one which does not undergo Shadvikara.
Antya bhav means the last vikara. Which is the last vikara? Asti, jayate, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyate. So Tattvabodh also we saw that. No, here Antya bhava vikara, Shad bhava, last vikara, not pradvamsa bhava, but yeah, you can talk death, correct. So Antya bhava vikara rahitam. Avinashanam means deathless, free of death. Rahitam, free, the one who doesn't have death. Therefore, what is it? It is nityam. It is always there. It is viparinama rahitam. It has no changes. Therefore, it is nityam. This, the one who knows, enam, in this manner, the one who knows Atma, ajam. What is ajam then? The one who doesn't have janma rahitam. Janma rahitam. Ajam. Avyayam apakshaya rahitam. What is apakshaya rahitam? Free of decline, free of decay. Therefore is nityam. Saha vidvan. Who is that vidvan? Purushaha. Purushaha means all of us. Is not some having extra aura person. A person, a vidvan is a purushaha. What kind of a purushaha? He's an adhikritaha. He's a well-accomplished person. He's a qualified person. He's got the capacity to discern. Is a qualified one. Such a vidvan who has understood nature of Atma in this manner. Which manner? Avinashinam, nityam, ajam, avyayam. The one who has understood. Atma is this. Such a one. Hanti hanana kriyam karoti. Will they ever have the vikar of saying I am doing or I am getting killed? Or katham va ghatayati hantaram. Ghatayati means hantaram prayojayati. Like I said yesterday, you may not do it directly, but you may tell someone else to do it. So you become the prayojak karta, and the one you are inciting to do, the one you are motivating or inspiring or allowing someone else to guide someone to do something, but you are yourself not doing. You are also a karta. The other one is also a karta of an action. That karta of an action is called prayojya karta. He says, how can a knower of Atma be a karta, a bhokta, or a prayojaka karta? Get someone else to do it. Such a one, he says, katham sapurusha partha kam ghatayati hand. How is it possible for such a person to do? Shankaracharya says, please do not mistake. This is not a real question. It is only akshepa eva arthaha. Akshepa eva arthaha means it is only a question in the sense of how is it possible means it is not possible. Akshep kiya hai. It doesn't mean it's a real question that needs answer. He says, in fact, prashnaha asambhavat. This question does not arise even that such a person will ever become a karta or a bhokta. The one who knows Atma will never be a sufferer, has no grief, is never a enjoyer attributing it to something external. Atma Sukh mein he revels. The happiness is not a conditioned happiness. The sorrow is also therefore not there. Such a person, he says, prashna hi nahi uthta hai that they will ever have any aspect of wanting to know, any aspect of kartapan at all. So, such avikriyatva being the real hetu, this is a very important line. And this is what he wants to say, is going to be later on also expressed as the meaning of Brahmagyan, Atmagyan. He says, avikriyatva being the hetu of Atma, vidushaha, the one who knows also Atma, also has the same hetu, is avikriya himself. I'll repeat this, this may be subtle. We said so far Atma is avikriya. We are together up to this point. Atma is avikriya. We've been seeing it for last 2-3 classes now. Avikriya means changeless. It doesn't change. Therefore, it is nitya, ajam, etc. Avinashi. That being the cause why Atma cannot become karta. One statement. Atma is akarta, abhokta. The knower of Atma. Therefore, the same reason applies to the knower of Atma. Avikriyatva applies to the knower of Atma also. How? That's what he is going to explain through Purva Paksha and Siddhanta, but we'll just do it in a nutshell. There is no gap between the knowledge of Atma and the knower of Atma. Whatever our Indriya Janat Jnanam, Indriya Janat Jnanam means knowledge acquired through the senses. In that there is an object and a subject difference. But this Atma Gyan, not being Indriya Janat, not based on senses, Atma is revealed as oneself, nature of oneself, in the mind of course, but not based on senses. So the knower and the known. What is the known here? Atma. Who is the knower here? The minute you know Atma, you are the knower of Atma. Will there be a gap between the two then? There is no gap between the two. You are Atma. The knower is Atma. But if you know any other subject, I know biology. Who is the knower? I am the knower. What am I knowing? Biology. There is a gap, distance between the object of knowledge and the subject knower. But in Atma Vidya, there is no gap. There is no distance. The known is the knower. And the knower is the known. There is no difference. कोई भेद नहीं है. Therefore, what applies to Atma also applies to Vidwan, the knower of Atma. That is the reason why this Vidwan will be free of all samsara and gets moksha. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Cycle is dissolved because what is the nature of Atma is the nature of this Vidwan. Therefore, if Atma is akarta, What is this Vidwan? Also a karta. If Atma is a bhokta, what is this Vidwan? Also a bhokta. If Atma is a Janma, what is this Vidwan? Also a Janma. If Atma is Avinashi, what is this Vidwan? Avinashi. Therefore, if Atma cannot do a karma, what is this Vidwan? Also cannot do a karma with the bhav of being a karta. Atma is a karta, Vidwan is a karta. So where is the karta now? That kartritvam bhav, which is the source of entire samsara janam, beej of samsara, seed of samsara, samsara bija bhutaha, was in the bhav of karta and bhokta. Karta and bhokta came from avidya, not recognizing who you are. Through Gyan, what happened? This mumukshu, this jignasu, this seeker, pursuing, wanting freedom from samsara, sought measures to free himself. First in the world, all kinds of measures, stood on the head, got all kinds of upayas done, bahut tarike apnaye. But like we said yesterday, and I think it was fairly clear, nothing dissolves away that sense of shadow behind you. What comes lurking all along, Shloka, that sense, nothing dissolves. Finally, by some anugrah, sincere efforts, Shastra Vidya comes through the ear. कान के थ्रू एंट्री होती है उसकी, बुक आंखों के थ्रू नहीं होती. If you read Shastra Vidya on your own, Vidya doesn't come. Vidya comes through the ear. Uski entry point is Shravanam. This is the only sense organ which is primarily first going to bring anugraha in a jiva's life. You listen. Listening has changed. Afterwards, books, yes, that's a different matter. Your eyes are engaged in it. But what is the praman? Praman of the knowledge is that anugraha with which you hear, there is a solution to this perpetually endless cycle, seemingly endless. What was in the Plato's metaphor, the dark tunnel. That dark tunnel has an end. The minute a jiva comes, hears the Vedantic knowledge, enters through the ear, and you hear there is a cessation of samsara once and for all. It can end. And what is the solution? The solution does not lie in karma. The solution does not lie in any of the upayas. The solution does not lie in seeking Bhagwan's anugrah for its own sake. Solution will not lie in going to Swargam. Solution will not lie in a future place somewhere. It will not be there in any yuga, in any kala, in any desha, in any other paristhiti. There will be nothing which will give a solution to this. The only solution is be where you are, how you are, and know yourself. That is the solution. To know yourself, there is a system. There is a systematic approach. To know yourself, there is a methodology adopted. Put the Purusharth into understanding that methodology, adopting that methodology, following that methodology with which the Shastra unfolds the Atma Vidya. And slowly, the layers of avidya that I have accumulated as I am this, I am suffering, I want this. Slowly there is a correction, that auto-correct mode happens. As the clarity surfaces, as the clarity strengthens, as your reflection gets stronger, you're able to contemplate, you're able to hold the knowledge in a reasonable manner, through logic, through example, as Shastra gives it. Auto-correct mode shifts in, and you see the falsity of your own thinking, of a jiva's thinking. The falsity becomes apparent. And when the falsity becomes apparent, the false perception dissolves. Like, for example, rope and snake, 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 all samsara experience, snake, snake, snake. And then there was this Apta Purusha, the one that's Vidvan Purusha, rope of Vidvan Purusha, who knows that there is no snake, but there is a rope. So that rope of Vidvan Purusha keeps telling you, no, it is not a snake, it is not a snake. Focus clearly, look at it. It is something called a rope. Do you know what a rope is? They have to teach what a rope is from the standpoint of the snake. Snake को ही समझाया जाएगा पहले. Snake is this feet. The rope is this feet. Snake you are experiencing as this color. The rope, your Shastra will say, is actually that color. It applies to the rope. The property that you're experiencing of the snake is actually the property as if the property of the rope. The length of the snake that you're experiencing, it's a long snake and it's coiled. At the moment, just about the fangs are going to rise because one end of it has got this looseness there. All that one jiva is experiencing, Shastra says over there, finally, that the knower says, this is just a rope. And looking at it carefully, the minute you are able to overcome the fear and you engage in the questioning, you engage in reflection, you engage in mananam, what do you discover? At some point, there is a hope that you will discover, oh, what they were saying as qualities of the snake, indeed the snake vanished. The minute you saw the rope, snake vanished. It dissolved away. It no longer can be seen. Exactly the same. Atma Vidya, one who has the jivatvam dissolves. Once the jivatvam dissolves, rest we all understand now. The entire samsara cycle dissolves. There is no samsara left. Therefore, Bhashyakara being, as I said, he needs to always give a little more. Sacha Vidushaha, the one who is a wise person, for him, Sarva Karma Pratishedhaha, all karmas are now as if they're prohibited. That is what is Bhagwan's Abhipretaha, he says. That is what Bhagwan has intention in saying. This prakaranam, prakarnarthaha, the meaning of this prakaranam is Bhagwan's intention is to say, all those who are wise, to them, sarva karma pratishedhaha is the mandate. They have no karma left to be done. There is no karma ordained for them. No vihita karma. There is nothing associated with karma for them. Therefore, he says, this hantehe also, because people keep bringing up the question, killing, why is Gita talking about killing? And so Shankara says, don't take hantaha as a literal sense of hantaha. It is only akshepaha. It is uddharan. Uddaharan. It is only given as an example. Prathama malla means the one which is the most core action possible. If in that also a jnani has no kartratvam, then what are we talking about the rest of the karmas? He's free of all karta. But here, as I said, Purva Paksha, I'll just touch very little on it because most of you may not follow it and can contribute to some confusion. So far, are we okay? Especially those who are any questions so far? Because now we're going to enter into a little bit of an analysis, and that's very, very helpful. I'll try and keep it easy, simple. But this is Siddhant, and this gives clarity to a serious student of Vedanta. Here Bhashyakara said, Vidushaha also sarva karma pratishedaha. Even for the wise, the knower of. So far we've said Atma and the knower of the Atma are one. They have no difference. They are not distinct. They are not separate. Therefore, what applies to Atma applies to the Vidwan. Therefore, Vidwan also has no karma to do. Sarva karma pratishedaha. So far, this much. Now a question can come to any one of us. Apurva Paksha says, what is the specific reason? Hetu Vishesham. Vishesha Hetu kya hai? Seeing which Pashyan, Bhagavan, Karma Asambhava, for the Vidushaha, Karma ki Asambhavana, for the wise one. What is that specific reason? Why is Bhagwan exempting? What particular reason is there that a Vidwan is exempted from karma? What has the Bhashyakara said so far? What we have understood? Atma avikriya, knower of Atma also, therefore avikriya, because there is no gap between the two. But when we do not understand the statement that the knower and the known is one in Atma Vidya, to us the knower and the known are separate. There is a knower of physics, there is a knower of chemistry, there is a knower of economics, there is a knower of pottery, the object of knowledge is different from the knower. So when my understanding of what has been said by Vedanta is not clearly grasped in my logical mind, then my doubt has to be there. That question will arise in us. There will be a doubt in us. What is it? Why is a Vidwan exempted from this karma? Why is it that karma asambhavana for a Vidwan has been said? That means I have not understood the previous point. What is the previous point? There will be
That is not a
karmas
birth.
asambhavana for a jnani, because there is no distance between the object and the subject of knowledge. जब ये बात साफ नहीं है हमको मन में, बुद्धि में, जब ये क्लियर नहीं है, तो half heard या half reflected, there will still be a doubt, because to us in avidya, who is the knower of any knowledge? Jiva. बुद्धि में जानते हैं हम. ज्ञान हमारा बुद्धि में आता है, मन में आता है. जीव को ज्ञान है. I know this. Do you know this? When we say I know this, do you know this? That means we are talking to each other with reference to the Jivatvam and its upadhi. Buddhi is the upadhi. So Purva Paksha here says, he's just raising our question. What is the question? How did Bhagwan say, Katham Sapurushaha, that Purushaha who is a Vidwan, how is it that he has na hanti, na hantaram, na hanyate? How does this apply to him? What is the Hetu Vishesham? Is the question clear to everyone? If the question is clear, only then we'll proceed with the answer. Even those who are everywhere else on YouTube, Facebook, is the question clear?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, Diptiji.
Great. So, what is that specific reason? The reason is speaking the same thing. Atmanaha avikriyatvam. That needs to be reflected. Vikriya versus avikriya. Change in Atma status versus changelessness in Atma status. What is the Atma status today as change? Example, before your child was born, what was your status? Not a parent. Once your child is born, what is your status? Parent. Vikriya ho gaya aapka status. It's changed. Atma mein, is there a change? जिसका चेंज हुआ वो आत्मा नहीं है, वो जीवात्मा है. Jivatma, this is very subtle and very important. The whole of third chapter Gita is only between these 2 points. The one who knows Atma as avikriya has no karma to do. Sarva karma asambhava karana visheshaha. Avikriya Atma में status बदल ही नहीं सकता. It cannot become a karta. The one who knows Atma, you may have to go back to the previous verses and reflect them. The one who knows Atma is Avinashi. Atma is Avinashi, therefore I am Avinashi. I am Ajanma. I am Nitya. I am Shashvat. I am Puranaha. मैं हूं ये जो ये जानता है. How is it possible for him to change the status from Nitya to Karta? Change the status from Ajaha to Karta. Change the status from Shashvataha to Karta. वो विकार कैसे हो सकता है? क्योंकि नित्य means changeless. It is avikriya. Asambhava. Asambhava. Grasp it. Sarva karma asambhava karan is the visheshaha. He says, Uktaha eva, हमने तो कह तो दिया ऊपर ये बात को. Bhashyakara says, haven't we just said? There is a specific reason you seem to have missed. You are not listening from a traditional guru, means in the sense you are not listening in the parampara explanation. You are listening to some half knowledge. Therefore, you seem to have missed the real point. We have already said the Hetu Visheshas, the specific hetu, reason for a jnani to have no kartritvam, bhoktritvam, because kartritvam and bhoktritvam is a changing status on oneself. Only with reference to action am I a karta. If I have to write a book, what is my status? What is my status? If I write a book, what is my status?
You become an author. You are karta.
I become an author. I am a karta. I am a writer. I can't go on writing. It's not a nitya status. I'm not a writer always. If I have to cook, What is my status with reference to the action of cooking? I'm a whistle blower. I'm a cooker. With reference to cleaning, what am I? Karamchari. I am a cleaner. With reference to I have to give a talk. I have to give a speech. What am I? Speaker. ER. ER. In English, ER is the status. That ER status is a changing status. It's not Nitya. Orator. It's a changing status. It's not Nitya. Therefore, the one who has the nature of changing status, is he free of karma? The one who has the nature of a changing status, is he free of karma?
No.
इस बात को याद रखना, next few classes में बहुत काम आएगी ये बात. This class should be very clear. Because if this is not clear, your rest of Vedantic Adhyanam, hundreds of classes you may attend, you will still feel that you still don't understand. Am I to do or not to do? Who is to do and who is not to do? Who is freed from karma? Who is freed from karma?
The Atma is free from karma.
Modify that statement a bit.
Jnani.
I am free from karma. I as Atma am free from karma.
Correct. Jnani is free of karma. Jnani is who? Who knows himself, Atma, as Nitya, Shashvat. जानता है, बोध है उसको अपने बारे में. But what is my knowledge of myself? If it
I
is,
think of myself to be this body.
And if it is a Anitya Gyan, it's a Janma, therefore I think I'll die. Therefore I think I have things to do. I have to fool myself. I have to gain happiness. I have to avoid sorrow. I have. That is my thinking today. उसको नहीं कहा भगवान ने कि you have no karma to do. सर्व कर्म असंभव कारण विशेषः is avikriyatvam of Atma, and the knower of Atma is the same Atma itself. Such a one has sarva karma asambhava, asambhavata. So far, okay? Now, this same thinker, like all of us, if it is not clear in this manner, then what? The Purva Paksha here means our confusion will still be, we are still not able to grasp how Atma Vidya and Vidvan is one. In the previous verse, he said, Atma is aprameya. You cannot objectify yourself as Atma. That, if that point, all this Atma and Vidvan is one, is not clear, the doubt will still surface. And so this Purva Paksha is helping us out by re-asking another clarification. And he says, this cannot be Karan Vishesh. He's a very intelligent thinker. Karan Vishesh, how can it be? Why? He gives a reason. Because Vidushaha Anyatvat. जो विद्वान है, विदुषः, जो विद्वान है वो तो अन्य है. He's separate. From what? Avikriyat Atmanah. From Atma, which is Avikriya. What does a person with a Jiva Bhav think? Knowledge of Atma is separate from the knower. Because the topic of space, stars, cosmology I want to study. I can study cosmology because stars and moon, planets are out there in cosmos. I am the knower, I am here. I can study. So he says, how can this be Vishesha Karan? Because Avikriya Atmanah accept it. मान लिया कि आत्मा अविक्रिय है. आपने कहा, हमने मान लिया. मगर जानने वाला तो कोई तो होगा ना जो आत्मा को जानता है. It's a topic to be known. Just as cosmology is a topic to be known. Anyatvat vidushaha. Therefore, the vidwan is separate from the topic of knowledge, and the topic of knowledge is Atma. The knower must be separate from it. So how can this become the Vishesha Hetu? And then he further gives an example. He says, maybe I am not able to express clearly, or maybe you Siddhanti, Vedanti, you don't understand. But look at the example. If I see avikriyatvam in anything that is sthanu. Sthanu means stationary. Nahi avikriyam sthanu. Viditavataha. When I know that there is avikriyatvam in a stationary object like a rock, like a stone, like a stump of a tree, they are avikriya. There is no change there. So when I know that there is a sthanu object, a stone, I know this is a stone and it is avikriya. I am the knower of avikriya, sthanu. Are you telling me that now for me, the knower, karma is asambhav? That I will be able to do no karma? It's not possible, no? I know the object as sthanu, avikriya, but that doesn't make me avikriya. Oh Siddhanti, oh Vedanti, what are you talking? You are saying the knower of Atma also is avikriya. If Atma is avikriya, means usko जान के मैं भी अविक्रिय बन गया. तो ये तो वही बात हो गई कि किसी पत्थर को जान के मैं भी पत्थर बन गई. Gaining the knowledge of stone as avikriya, I have become avikriya. Is this question clear again? My emphasis will be more on gaining the clarity of the questions, and then the answer will slip. But if our questions are not clear, then the answers are, we don't know what the answering is for. The questioner is clear and he's thankful that he's there. If question is clear to us, the answer will become clear. Clear, everyone? YT, FT, everywhere. Clear?
Yes.
Great. Please repeat. Okay. Please listen. When I say, I'm restarting the logic. We said Atma is avikriya. We all understand this intellectually. All of us have understood. Because we actually don't know Atma. And we don't know what is avikriya. So if the book tells us Atma is avikriya, we accept the statement. Actually, we have not understood the statement. We accepted Atma is avikriya. So when Atma is avikriya, then Shastra says the knower of Atma is avikriya is also avikriya. Because there is no gap between the two. आत्मा ही विषय है, जानने वाला भी आत्मा ही है. Therefore, this gap is not there between a subject and an object. जो आप आत्मा के बारे में आज जानते हो, वो आत्मा आप हो, अविक्रिय आप हो, खुद हो. So the Purva Paksha says, ऐसा हो नहीं सकता, पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. Why? Because if I know any inert object, all inert objects are avikriya. The table on which I have kept my book and my all this facility here, if the table was not avikriya, stationary, changeless, avikriya means जिसमें विकार नहीं होगा. It doesn't modify itself. It's changeless, stationary. If it was not stationary by itself, how can I become a user of it or the knower of it? By becoming a knower of that object, I don't become that object. पत्थर को अविक्रिय जान के मैं पत्थर थोड़ी बन गई. Now clear? By knowing any stationary object, I do not become Thanu. Therefore, O Vidwan, O Vedantin, why are you confusing me? Why are you confusing me? Don't you understand the simple thing? पत्थर को जान के अविक्रिय मैं थोड़ी अविक्रिय बन गई. And now Vedantin says, you are missing a simple point also. What is it? Vidushaha atmatvat. The Vidwan is Atma, is of the nature of Atma. And this Vidvatta, Vidwan, उसकी जो knowledge है, Vidvatta, is not Dehadi Sanghatasya. It's not a Dehadi Sanghat. It's not this body, mind, sense complex. It's not the Upadhi. The knowingness is not based in the Upadhi. It's not Upadhi based. The knowingness of Atma, that I am Atma, is free of the Upadhi. But knowing that the stone is avikriya, where do you know that knowledge? In your antakaran, in your manas, in your buddhi. तो ज्ञान आपको आपके बुद्धि में है. अगर वो ज्ञान बुद्धि में है, वैसा ज्ञान आत्मज्ञान नहीं है. बुद्धि का ज्ञान नहीं है ये. आत्मा विद्वान अविक्रियः. देहादि संघातस्य विद्वत्ता नहीं है. It is not centered at the level of your intellect. बुद्धि के विषय नहीं है आत्मा का ज्ञान. That is why Upanishads only understand if you understand this verse. Bhashyam, I mean. When they say the eyes cannot know, the ears cannot know, that can only be understood when this is understood. बुद्धि का विषय नहीं है आत्मा. This is, if you follow very systematically, Every point is unfolded here, and that is Vedanta Praman. Then you can say, yes, I have understood. Ataha parisheshyad asamhataha atma. Asamhataha, what is not a sanghata? Asamhataha, it is not a part of body, mind and intellect ka sanghat mein, it is not one of the upadhis. So, therefore, whatever is left is asamhataha atma. If it is not the body, mind, sense complex which has the vidvatta, तो अब रह क्या गया जहां विद्वत्ता होगी? Parisheshat, whatever is left is asamhatah atma. Vidvan, that is Vidvan, avikriyaha iti. That knowingness is of the Vidvan, is the Atma itself. It's centered, you can't say on, in, you cannot use any of these. It is Atma itself which knows. Atma ही जानती है. Therefore, he says, karma asambhavat. Therefore, for such a knower of Atma, karma is asambhava. And I want to remind you of yesterday's connection now. Arjuna thinks he knows. He is wise. But we said उसका पूरा ज्ञान उसके शोक को हिला नहीं रहा, dissolve नहीं कर रहा. So Shastra is telling us, Krishna is telling Arjuna and all of us, ज्ञानी सिर्फ यही हो सकता है जो बुद्धि में ज्ञान रख रहा है. वो ज्ञानी अभी नहीं है, वो अभी भी संसारी है, वो अभी भी जीव है. There will be a different mandate for such a one. उसके लिए कुछ और कहा जाएगा जो वो फिर बाद में विद्वान बनेगा. He will be he is by nature Atma today, but he doesn't think so. I am by Atma today, but I don't think so. I am now Atma, but I don't think so. What do I think? I don't think I am a Janma and I will not have Mrityu. I think I am a Janma, I have a Janma, my birthday ought to be 16th, then 18th, and then 21st, and then 25th, and then 30th, and then 40th, and then 50th, and then 60th, and then 75, and then 80th, very important. And all my celebrations have nothing to do with the karma, that is to do with the gati of the jiva. All my celebrations means having cruises, having holidays, having parties, having this, fulfill my set of desires. This is what I think. While I think this, who am I? Atma asamhataha. All along, I still am Atma. But I don't think so. That is avidya. I don't think I am Atma. From where? One grey hair can disturb me. What are you talking? I am Atma. Not possible. Avikriya.
Deeply.
Yes.
Sorry, I have a question. So in the first question, right, why did they not explain it from a bhokta point of view? Like, since Atma is not a cause, well, it is above the cause and effect. So automatically karma will not touch it. As in karma will not make sense. So I was just asking, is that an explanation which is valid?
Karma will not touch. Karma, who will do?
Like, why would a person Atmagyani do it? Because he's neither going to get there's no cause and effect in his karma, right? Whatever he does will not have any. So why
Correct.
will he pursue karma in that way? Like, why should there be a need to do it?
Um,
If I
if I've understood the question correctly, uh, why would a jnani do karma? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
You know, there will be no need for him to do karma. But later on in the Gita, keep this question written and on hold, because this question Krishna is going to answer himself after a few verses. Okay? You want the answer now? Okay.
No, I want it to unfold.
Good. Very good. Yeah. Because this point is something different from what you are asking. What you're asking is also valid, and that will be unfolded later on. But this point needs to be understood as is for the whole fourth chapter of the Gita also to open up. And a lot of Vedanta opens up if this point is opened up. So this should be understood for its complete sake. And then that question will come later. Okay, so we should now, I think I'll end it over here only, because it is fairly in-depth to grasp. Don't want to bring too many points together. So far, pay attention to what the question is and what the answer is. Whatever the question has been asked from one standpoint. And that standpoint must become very clear to us. From which standpoint is this question getting asked? Because that standpoint is our standpoint. We are actually at the Purva Paksha point. It should be our question. It should be our doubt. Therefore, the knowledge part is what the Siddhanti is answering. And when he answers that part, then slowly you will start to recognize as the verses move forward, as the chapters move forward, you will realize the importance of the study of the Shastra, not just study, and why we need to abide in it. Why we need to gear our lifestyles according to what is taught to us. So what is Atma Vidya? It is a samsara nivritti, moksha sadhan. But moksha sadhan that is now being spoken of, what is moksha, what is jnani, what is Atma, the subject is going to get clear. And then how am I thinking myself to be? And therefore, how will I proceed towards it? If I'm already Atma, how do I not see it today that I am Ajanma and Avinashi? Why is it that smallest word of someone can also still hurt me? Why does it pierce me when someone insults me? What am I still hoping from someone? What am I expecting from anywhere? What am I still wanting from the world? What is it that my desires are holding? What do they think? What do I think that if my desires get fulfilled will happen? What will I get if they get fulfilled? What will happen if they don't get fulfilled? All of this, every sentence, every word is very, very presented logically, very presentable. Therefore, just follow the context and don't bring too much information together. Step by step. Okay? Sunira ji, all right? So everyone fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Akanksha, everyone okay, no? No question here?
Hanji Dipti ji, all okay.
So we will just end the class here, and we will move next week. A little more. As I said, I'm only picking up the important points that form the thought flow. If you don't know Sanskrit, it becomes difficult to otherwise have the entire thing. But this is how it will move on. Okay. So we will end the class. Divya ji, can you?
Yes. ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखात् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Deepti ji.